Outrage over outages. Right now on Face the State, angry customers and an angry governor demand answers from Eversource. We'll talk with the person in charge of regulating the utility, Marissa Gillett of PURA. And the Attorney General is also with us, William Tong, taking action against Eversource. Joe Biden makes history by picking Kamala Harris as his running mate. We'll get insight from Hartford Courant columnist Kevin Rennie. COVID is killing businesses across Connecticut. What can be done about saving shops and jobs? We'll talk with Jordan Poland of the Hartford Business Improvement District. She has answers, and we'll continue our look at black-owned businesses with Dr. Desmond Ebanks. It's all straight ahead this Sunday, August 16th, 2020.
From Eyewitness News, Connecticut's most watched local political program, this is Face the State.
Good morning and thanks for joining us. I'm Dennis House. We begin today with Eversource. What should the state do about the massive outages and the company's response? What can they do? First up today, Marissa Gillett. She is the chair of PURA, the Public Utilities Regulatory Authority. And Chair Gillett, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for the invitation.
First of all, explain to our viewers who aren't up to speed on this, what exactly does PURA do?
Happy to. PURA, or the Public Utilities Regulatory Authority, is a small state agency, and we have jurisdiction over regulated electric, gas, water, and some telecom. And what that means is, the easiest way to explain it, I found to people, is our job is almost to be the Monday morning quarterback. So we see how these regulated entities respond to events, and then we judge the prudency of their reactions and their response to that.
How would you grade Eversource's response to the storm?
Well, PURA, as a quasi-judicial agency, has to give the utilities their day in court. We operate just like a court, so we have to hear evidence from all sides. But I think I've been very transparent over the past week, expressing my level of frustration with what I've seen from them so far. That grade is not an A. It might not even be a passing grade at this point.
Let's talk a little bit about this court procedure. So what exactly happens? Walk us through the procedure.
Sure. So PURA abides by statutes that have been passed by the legislature, including one that governs an investigation into the utilities storm response. So we have to take evidence from all sides, including from members of the public, and evaluate whether the response and the preparations to the storm were adequate, whether they lived up to the guidelines that they were supposed to abide by. And then we can assess penalties and direct the utilities to take different actions, remedial actions in the future.
When does this happen?
So we have already announced the first stage of our investigation, which we announced last week, and we are endeavoring to get a schedule out for that investigation by the end, no later than August 14th. So that investigation will take place in earnest this fall.
I want to point out that I did invite the CEO of Eversource, Jim Judge, to join us today, and he declined. In fact, he hasn't done any media interviews or even come out to talk to the reporters camped outside his office. Have you had any conversations with him?
I have had the opportunity to speak to Mr. Judge directly. Unfortunately, he has not made any appearances in the public. I know that my colleagues in the legislature have requested his presence at their hearing, and I will be doing the same.
What is the official line that Eversource is giving you for the outages and their response?
There have been several. They are maintaining that their response and preparations, I think they've said this publicly, they feel that they have lived up to the plans, that they are claiming it was always going to be a bad event. So they're putting on that, that demeanor right now, and it's something that will be the subject of our investigation, because I don't find it acceptable.
As you know, people all across Connecticut seem outraged over the millions of dollars paid to the CEO and other top executives. How does PURA feel about that?
So speaking for myself, because I also have two colleagues, I understand the outrage. The utilities are in the business of delivering reliable service, and their executives are well compensated to do that. And I don't think that the response that they have, and how they prepared for the storm justified the millions of dollars that their top executives have received. So I'm not feeling great about it, as I imagine no one else is in this state.
Well, I know that you've had a very difficult week, and Marissa Gillett, we appreciate you joining us today here on Face the State. Best of luck with that procedure that's coming up.
Thank you.
We want to bring in now our State Attorney General William Tong. General Tong, thanks so much for being with us this Sunday morning.
Hey, Dennis, how are you?
I'm doing well. What is the very latest on your action that you're taking against Eversource?
So you just spoke to PURA, and yesterday I filed a motion to escalate our legal actions against Eversource and United Illuminating in front of PURA. As Chair Gillett said, PURA acts as a kind of court, and we are demanding that PURA open a contested case, which is a trial-like proceeding, so that we can conduct discovery, collect evidence, and seek the maximum fines and penalties in the shortest amount of time, including, I should note, denying the utilities and Eversource and UI profits in the future, and also reimbursement of storm-related costs.
Let me ask you this. Senator Chris Murphy this week called for maybe we should start looking into maybe a public-owned utility. What do you think about that?
I think everything should be on the table, every issue, and that's why I want to expand this investigation, and I want this to be a contested case. I want every available remedy, every avenue of relief, every legal tool in the toolbox available to the Attorney General and the state of Connecticut. Every question has to be asked.
You know, one of the big complaints we're getting from so many of our viewers is that they lost hundreds of dollars worth of food, as you know, because of COVID and restaurants being closed. A lot of people are stocking up on food, so their freezers weren't working. Many of them lost hours of work, of actual productivity, because they have to work from home because their offices are closed because of COVID. What kind of, refund or rebate or, restitution can the viewers expect from Eversource?
People should get their money back, and Eversource and UI should pay. Con Ed in New York, the utility there, just offered hundreds of dollars in reimbursement for spoiled food and for spoiled medication. And frankly, Eversource and UI should do the same. I just called for UI and Eversource to do that just a few minutes ago.
You called for them to do it legally. Can you enforce that they actually do send out checks?
Look, we're going to push them as hard as we can in this contested case. If PURA opens this up and we have every tool at our disposal, we will push them as hard as we can.
What kind of conversations have you had with Eversource executives, and how high in the chain have you gotten?
I've not spoken so far to the CEO. I've not had the opportunity to do that. As has been reported, this is a guy that made almost $20 million last year as part of a management team, making in excess of $40 million. And what are we getting for our money? I think he's got a lot to answer for. He's got to demonstrate that, Mr. Judge has to demonstrate that Eversource is up to the job of being our electricity provider here in the state. And if he's not going to step forward and take responsibility and be accountable for their storm response, maybe he's not the right man for this job.
William Tong, the Attorney General of the state of Connecticut, we thank you so much for joining us today, sir. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thank you, Dennis. Same to you and your family.
We'll see you in person. Thank you. In a moment, reaction to the history-making political announcement this week, Kamala Harris becoming the first black woman on a major party ticket. And later, helping businesses during the COVID era. We welcome you to watch past editions of Face the State on YouTube or on the WFSB app.